Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Mental Health on the Mat class. My name is Kelsey. I'm a therapist in Washington State and also a yoga teacher. I like to combine these mental health yoga practices together to give you a break on your workday, move your body, and maybe integrate some mental health tools. So go ahead, make yourself comfortable, find an easy spot to do your practice today. We'll start with a little meditation like always. We'll have a seated flow that we'll do. We'll have some standing flow that we do. Everything in this course is an invitation. So if something doesn't feel good to your body, please don't do it. Please listen to your body and take my words as suggestions. So the first suggestion you can try out is taking off your shoes, maybe wiggling your toes, doing any stretches that your body wants to do to be a little more present for today. Gonna fix this here. All right, let's keep going. So for the month of January, we've been working with the theme of setting intentions and accomplishing goals, kind of in alignment with New Year's resolutions. We've looked at habit stacking, we've looked at boundaries, we've looked at some of the more heart-centered ways of setting intentions. And today we're going to do a practice that comes from the EMDR training that I did, which is a mental health practice or method or modality. You can call it whatever you want to call it. The thing that we're going to be trying today is called rehearsal or a future installation. So we'll incorporate that into our meditation for today. But what you want to know at a baseline is we'll be thinking of a goal we have, a way we want to respond to a future situation, something that is future oriented. We'll be imagining it going in the best way possible and using some bilateral stimulation. So activating our left brain and our right brain at the same time, or kind of alternating to give us a more integrated whole brain experience of this future experience that we want to have. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've gotten all your stuff ready to get started now. And we're going to go ahead and begin. So, in your comfortable seat, as always, you can do any of these meditations standing, laying down, or walking around the room, whatever your body needs. I'm going to scoot back to my mat for this so that I can join in the practice with you. And we can add in some movement as well. All right. Let's begin by tuning to our breath. So resting your hands down at your side or on your knees and allowing your breath to just naturally be whatever it is right now. Letting your heart rate be naturally whatever it is right now. Just noticing, attuning to your awareness mind, your wise mind. And see if you can lengthen on your exhale. So breathing in through your nose and exhaling slowly back out your nose. At your own pace, breathing in into your belly, into your lungs, into the top of your head, the bottom of your sit bones. And slowly, slowly exhaling out your nose. One more time, the biggest breath you've had all day, breathing in and out. I'd like you to call to mind something coming up in the future. Maybe it's a goal that you have that you're working toward and you want to accomplish. Maybe it's your partner coming home from work and you're excited to see them. Maybe it's a future plan, a friend date. Something in your future Can be positive, neutral, or negative. Something you're anticipating but nervous about. Something you're dreading and don't want to do. Bring the images of that to your mind. And you can keep your hands on your knees, or you can bring your hands to cross in front of your chest with your palms on opposite shoulders. You're going to slowly and gently begin alternating tapping with your hands, whether they're on your shoulders or your knees. Maybe a little bit slower than the pace of your heart, or whatever you imagine your heartbeat to be. And as you tune to the rhythm of your body here, as you hold this future event in your mind, I'd like you to play out the scene of the event as if it were a movie happening in the best way possible. Starting with, what do you want to believe about yourself as you go through this event in the best way possible? If it's a goal that you have, maybe you want to believe that you'll be successful. Maybe you want to believe that you'll love yourself no matter what. If it's a meeting with a friend, maybe you want to believe that you can feel connected to this other person. What do you want to believe about yourself as this future thing happens? And slowly tapping it into our body to help our nervous system integrate this belief. And as you play the scene in your mind, tune into the 5 senses. As it's happening perfectly in the best case scenario, what are you seeing? What are you noticing happening in your body? What are you hearing? Maybe even what are you smelling and what are you tasting? Really let this vision come to life in your mind. Go ahead and bring your hands to stillness. You can drop them down to your knees. And take a moment to just notice what you notice about your body and your experience right now. How has your experience shifted? What do you notice? Let's tune back to our breath, breathing in a really, really big inhale, maybe lifting your chin to the sky, grabbing onto those knees and pulling, arching your upper body back as you breathe in. And exhale, release the tension, let everything go. Bring your hands together. You can do your hands clasped together in front of you. And we're going to do some infinity circles, letting our shoulders lead, keeping a straight line in between our elbows as we do this. As we learned in one of our neuroplasticity flows way back over the summer, creating these infinity loops can help create some neuroplasticity in our body, in our mind, to help us integrate these new tools. Switching directions. So this direction is much harder for my brain. Wonderful. And now we're going to separate our hands and let your arms just follow each other, creating this infinity loop. Switching directions. Wonderful. Go ahead and let your arms come to rest. We're going to move through a breathing flow. Inhaling, palms facing each other, reaching up, up, up. And exhaling, arms down to the side. Inhaling up, leaning over to the left side as we inhale, left arm reaching far away from your body. And exhaling everything back down. Inhaling up and over to the right side, right hand reaching as far as it can, left hand up and over. And exhaling everything back down to center. Inhaling up and twisting to the left side, left hand reaching back, still on the inhale here. And exhale to untwist. Repeating on the opposite side. These are big inhales, inhaling up, twisting back, filling your lungs. And exhaling back to center. We're going to inhale, this time as our hands reach up, sending them backwards, being careful to protect your low back, so tighten your core. And finally, we're going to exhale, send our hands down to the mat in front of us, reach them forward into a seated forward fold. And coming back up to center. Let's flow through that one, maybe two more times all together. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling to the left, exhaling to reset. Inhaling to the right, and exhaling to reset. Inhaling to twist to the left. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, twisting to the right. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling, mini back bend. And finally, exhale, forward fold. We'll do that one more time just so you can follow your own breath. You don't have to be going at the same pace that I'm going to build that part of your system that is following your own body. Wonderful. Meeting all together back at center. Just trying to get the sun out of my face. It's a tiny little spot of shadow that I've got here. Go ahead and reach your arms up. Plant your hands behind the back of your head, elbows to the sky. We're going to lean to the left side, sending our right elbow up towards the ceiling. See if you can imagine a string pulling your elbows together behind you, opening through the front of your chest. And coming back up to the opposite side, this time a left arm reaching towards the ceiling, both elbows reaching back. And coming back to center. Take your hands in front of you, interlace your fingers, stretch your palms straight out in front of you, and roll your shoulders up and back as you lift those interlaced fingers to the sky. Release the grip on your hands, begin to roll your wrists and send them down to the sides. Wonderful. Go ahead and bring both your legs out in front of you. Moving on to stretching our legs here as part of our warm-up. Inhale those arms high. We're going to exhale, reach for our toes in a forward fold. Sitting on back up. Bring your left knee to your chest, interlacing your fingers around that left knee to pull it closer. Inhale to lift your chin, chest to the sky. Exhale to roll your forehead down to your knee. One more time, inhaling to lift. Exhaling to roll down. Take your left ankle, place it over top of your right thigh. Knee out to the side, doing some ankle rolls to warm up your ankles. Come to stillness with your feet. Raise those arms up, headed forward into our forward fold yet again. Be very gentle. You're probably not going to get down as far this time. And coming back on up, go ahead and stretch that left leg long. This time, bring your right knee towards your chest. Interlace those fingers to give some pressure. Inhale, chin and chest up to the sky. And exhale, roll forehead to knee. Inhaling, lifting everything up, up, up. And exhaling, forehead to knee. Right ankle goes over top of your left thigh. Rolling that ankle first. Switching directions as needed. And then finding stillness as we send our arms up and over into our forward fold. Rising on up. We're going to send both of our feet to the edges of our mat. If you're sitting on the long side of your mat, into a wide-legged forward fold here. Reaching up, reaching forward. Wonderful. Go ahead and do the same thing with your hands. We're going to interlace our fingers in front of our chest, rotate our palms forward, stretch them forward, and this time instead of sending them up, we're going to begin to circle our chest around, keeping our palms facing forward. Almost like we're churning a big cauldron or a vat of butter. Switching directions. And shake those arms out. Let's come to standing at the top of our mats here. To get started with our standing flow for the day. We're going to move through sun salutation because it's something that we're familiar with and that will help us in the visualization process for today. So as a reminder, we'll go through the flow nice and slow so your body warms up and knows what we're doing. Starting in mountain pose, feet grounded, inhaling, arms up, palms facing each other. Exhale, hinge at the waist, forward fold, hands reaching down. You can reach hands to opposite elbows for extra stretch here to pull your upper body down a little bit farther. Release your grip on those elbows. Slide your hands up your shins to a halfway lift. And exhale back down into that forward fold. Bend in the knees till your hands reach the mat. Step both feet back into plank pose. Check that your index fingers are parallel to the long edges of the mat, pressing down with all 10 fingers and 4 corners of your palm. You can keep your knees lifted or lower them to the mat as you come on down. Rest for a moment here with your cheek on the mat, your hands underneath your shoulders, squeezing your legs together, lifting your chin and your chest for cobra. No weight in your hands. Exhaling back down to the mat on your opposite cheek. We're going to inhale and come up one more time. And on this next exhale, tuck your toes. Press your hips to the sky as you come into downward dog. In downward dog, our index fingers are still parallel to the long sides of our mats. We can be up on our heels or down on our heels. Pressing your shoulders into the mat, hips to the sky. Wonderful. Shifting your weight forward, walking towards your hands. You can roll on up or come up with a flat back. Back to standing as we started. Hands up towards the sky, reaching. And then exhaling those hands down to your side. Palms facing forward. So that's our basic sun salutation. We'll do it one more time and then we'll add in our visualization practice. So going a little bit faster, inhaling arms up, exhaling forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale all the way down to the mat. Inhale for cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Shifting your weight forward, walking towards those hands. Coming on up to standing, reaching up, and resetting in mountain pose. For this next part of the practice, just because we're practicing rehearsing in our mind, getting that future installation in the way that we want it to look like. Find your balance here, grounding down through your feet, stacking your joints on top of each other, palms facing forward. And if you have enough balance here, you can close your eyes. If you need to hold on to something for balance or just soften your gaze, that's okay too. In your mind's eye, visualize your body going through sun salutation A. Your body will stay here in mountain pose. In your mind's eye, raise those arms up. Exhale into a forward fold. Inhale for that halfway lift. And continue through the flow at your own pace in your mind's eye. Notice if you can imagine the best case scenario here. How does it feel? How do you imagine it would feel if you went through sun salutation in the best way possible? What would you be seeing as you do each pose? What would you be feeling with your body? Continue going through the flow in your mind until the last part. Your arms reach up and you exhale down and your body's in the exact same position that you're in now. I'll wait a moment for everyone to get there. And then we'll go through the flow again at our own pace. See if you can mimic, copy, move through sun salutation A, just as you rehearsed it in your mind, at your own pace. When you reach the end of the sequence, take a moment to notice how that was for you. What was similar? What was different? What did you like? What did you not like? What is a helpful tool? What's not a helpful tool? And you can begin to build your own practice with that. We're going to flow through it together and add on for our practice, inhaling our arms up, all together with our physical bodies, exhaling into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, dropping all the way down to the mat, slowly and gently. Passing through cobra, tucking our toes, shifting our hips up for downward dog. And here we're going to send our right leg forward this time to come into our crescent lunge, leaving our back heel lifted as we raise our arms up. Check that you can see your big toes on the front foot there. Reach up with your hands. We're going to exhale, drop our back foot and our hands, right hand to the front, left hand to the back in warrior two. Inhale to straighten that front leg, reach both hands up. Exhale, sink back down into warrior two, maybe a little bit deeper this time. Doing that again, inhaling up. Exhaling, sinking down a little bit deeper this time. And one more time, inhaling both arms up, front leg straight. Exhaling into warrior two. Cartwheel your arms forward on the inside of your right leg, planting them on the mat, sending your right leg back, passing through plank into downward dog. Walking your feet forward and coming right on back up. Arms up first and exhaling into mountain pose. Repeating on the opposite side, inhaling those arms up, exhaling into forward fold. Inhaling halfway lift and all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra. Downward dog. This time bringing your left foot forward in a lunge. Back heel stays lifted as you rise on up. Reaching up with your hands, down with your hips. Setting down that back heel, toes at a 45-degree angle, left hand to the front, right hand to the back. Gaze over that front hand. Warrior two. Inhale to straighten your leg, reach those arms up. Exhale down into warrior two, a little deeper this time. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lowest you've gone on the left side. Then cartwheel both your hands to the inside of the left foot on the mat. Left foot comes back. Hips to the sky for downward dog. And walk on forward. As you come up, raise those hands and sink them down to your side in mountain pose. We're gonna do a strength building pose here today. You can bring your feet a little bit closer. Maybe if you have a block, you can place it in between your legs. If not, that's okay. Just imagine pulling your inner thighs together as you do this move, even though they may not actually touch. Inhale your hands to the sky. Sink your hips back. Keep your hands lifted, coming into chair pose. You can leave your hands lifted or bring them to heart center. Make sure you're not arching in your low back. You want a nice flat back here. Hold it a little bit longer. And then send your arms up. Exhale into a forward fold. Plant your hands on the mat and come to tabletop. Stick your knees to the edge of the mat. Bring your big toes together and sink back down into child's pose. Shift your weight forward, hands below your shoulders, knees below your hips, back into tabletop. Let's move through some cat and cow. Inhale your chin high, sink your belly down. And exhale, reverse the direction. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Play around today with where you want your legs to be. So I always give a little bit of time for intuitive movement here. Today, see if you can figure that out with your legs. So maybe you want one leg to the side. Or maybe you want to stick one leg straight to the back. Whatever you do on one side, repeat on the opposite side. And when you're done experimenting, we'll all meet together back in tabletop to tuck our toes, send our hips to the sky for another downward dog. We're going to shift our weight forward right away, sending again our right leg forward to come into our lunge here. We're going to not lift our chest all the way. We're going to lift our chest so that it's in alignment with our back leg, creating a long straight line there from head to toe. Bring your hands to heart center in front of you. This is a tricky pose. We're going to go through 3 different variations. If it's too much, you can always straighten that front leg a little bit. Starting with hands at heart center. Then send your hands back, palms reaching toward each other. Wonderful. Keep it going. Reach your arms up above your head. One long straight line here. Reach, reach, reach. And exhale. Plant your hands on the mat on the inside of your right foot. Lower down that knee. Sink your hips a little bit lower here. And you can choose to stay here with your arms straight, or you can bend in the elbows to give yourself a deeper stretch. In a little lizard pose. Wonderful. Go ahead and press back into your hands. Shift your weight backwards, straightening your front leg. Back leg is bent now. Fold over your front leg in a kneeling pyramid pose. Bring your foot back to meet your left foot. Hands underneath your shoulders. Here we are back in our tabletop position. This time we're gonna move through some spinal movements, thinking about a different plane. So last time we did the vertical plane, and this time we're gonna do the horizontal plane. So looking over your right shoulder or your left shoulder towards the same side hip and repeating on the opposite side. Again, you can try this with your legs in different positions. See how it changes the movement for you. When you're done experimenting, meeting all together back and center, tucking your toes underneath, hips to the sky for downward dog, and we're sending our left foot forward this time. Again, we're not going to raise our chest up the whole way. We are looking for that long straight line. Hands at heart center. Inhale, sink into this pose, balance. Exhale, send your hands back, palms reaching toward each other. Find that balance. On your next exhale, send those arms overhead, lengthening this line. Hold, hold, hold for a moment and plant your hands on the inside of your left foot. You can lower down that back knee. And again, if it feels good for your body, and only if it feels good for your body, plant those elbows down on the mat. Placing your hands underneath your shoulders again to lift up, sending your weight backwards, straightening that front leg, folding forward into kneeling pyramid pose. Resetting back in tabletop and working with our last sort of plane of spinal movement. Bring your right hand directly below your chest and your left hand to the sky in a twist. And again, you can try it out on the same side with your leg in different spots. How does it make the movement slightly different? Experiment with this twist on the other side. Easing your right hand up. And meeting all together back in tabletop. Wonderful. We're going to come to standing again here. And we're going to stand facing the long side of our mat. Heel toe your feet wide, maybe about 3 times hip distance width apart. Inhale your arms up for star. Turn your toes so that they are facing directly in front. Send your arms together up overhead. Hinge forward at the waist into a standing forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift here. And exhale back down. We're going to play around with the twist in this pose, maybe planting your right hand directly below your chest, sending that left hand high. And coming all the way back down. Inhaling, right hand to the sky, left hand stays on the mat. And all the way back down. Make your way to standing with a flat back, squeezing your core. And coming all the way up. Wonderful. Heel toe your feet together to come to mountain pose. Now, I've taught this activity before, I think in one of our embodiment classes, but it's one of my favorite. And it relates to this idea of rehearsal or future installation. You can do this seated or standing, but what I would like you to do is place your arms by your side and let them just kind of hang there. Tune into your breath, noticing the inhale and the exhale. We're going to inhale our arms up, let our wrists be soft, and exhale our arms down. Let's try that one more time. Inhaling our arms up, letting our elbows be soft, wrists be soft. Exhale everything back down. This time you're going to leave your arms at your side, and in your mind's eye, inhale your imaginary arms up. Notice how they move, where they land in space, and exhale those imaginary arms back down. One more time, inhale those imaginary arms up. And this time, let them stay there as you exhale. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your real physical arms up in the same movement, same way that your imaginary arms moved until they reach wherever your imaginary arms are. And as you exhale, bring down both your imaginary arms and your physical arms back down to your side. This is a good embodiment tool if you're finding you're a little disassociated. It can help get you to line up with the body that's in your mind and the physical body that you have. It's also a great tool for rehearsal, just practicing, imagining, doing something, and then following that movement in real life. We're going to try it out again, but this time I want you to do it a little bit more complex. So maybe practice a few times, thinking of a yoga pose that is your favorite yoga pose. And go ahead and first do it with your physical body. And come back to center. Maybe do it again with your physical body. And come back to center. Now, standing still in your mind's eye, imagine how you're going to get down into that pose. And back up to your physical body. One more time, imagining going into the pose, noticing what you feel, what you see, how you move, and then moving to meet your imaginary body. This time, take both your physical body and your imaginary body back to standing in mountain pose in the middle of your mat. All right, wonderful, everyone. You can shake out that pose, that activity. We're going to come to seated on our mat to finish our flow for today. Stretch your legs out long in front of you. And bring your left ankle over top of your right knee. Just like we were doing figure 4 in the beginning. Send your hands behind you and slowly slide your right knee bent, bringing your left ankle closer to your chest. Press into your chest to deepen this stretch. And rock your right knee from side to side. Loosening your left hip here. Let this pose go by bending in the arm, straightening in your right leg, and letting your left leg go to meet it. Picking up your right leg, right ankle to go over top of your left thigh. Sending those hands behind you again and bending in the left leg. Pressing into your chest, into your arms to move your chest forward and rocking that left knee side to side. Sliding that left leg long, right leg to match it. We're going to come to laying on our mat and do the same pose and see if we notice any differences when we do it supine or laying down. Let's start by placing our knees bent towards the ceiling, walking your feet closer to your sits bones. Bring your left ankle up and over your right thigh. Send your left knee down towards your feet. Interlace your fingers around the bottom of your thigh if they reach. If not, you can just kind of pull your leg to you. And same thing here, using our hands supporting our thigh here. We're going to rock our right leg from side to side, just gently. What do you notice is different about it when we do it this way? Let this pose go by letting go of your hands, stretching both your feet long to reset. And then walking those feet back towards your sit bones. This time, right ankle goes over top of left leg. Picking up your left foot, interlacing those fingers underneath your left knee. Right knee reaches towards your feet as you rock side to side. Letting this pose go, stretching both those legs long. We have a few minutes here, as always, to take any last stretches that your body needs to feel good about ending the movement portion of our practice before we enter into Shavasana. And when your body is ready, go ahead and get to a comfortable position. You can lay on your back with your palms facing down into the earth or up into the sky. You can roll to one side and be in fetal position with your head resting on your arm. Just find that comfortable space for yourself. And as you enter into Shavasana today, you can call to mind your future event and situation. And again, just rehearse what would happen if it happened the best way possible. Or you can let your mind wander and think about nothing and give yourself a true break here. As always, my voice will drift off and I'll let you know when it's time to wake up from Shavasana and continue with the rest of your day. Mm. Slowly bring some movement and awareness back to your experience. Blink some light into your eyes. Wake up the way you wish you would have woken up this morning. No alarm clocks, just by choice. As always, it's so, 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 so wonderful to have everyone here to know that you're all showing up for your practice. When you make it to a seated position, you can offer yourself a gratitude, a moment of thanks, a bow, an affirmation for showing up for yourself. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you all next week.